Good morning and welcome to the Morning Market Call. I'm Julie Kellett, and joining us today we have a special guest, Whitney Johnson, joining us from Boston. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Whitney is an extremely successful stock picker, and today we wanted to talk a little bit about her firm. She has spent some time as an institutional investor for Merrill Lynch on the equities sales side research, and now is a president at Rose Park Advisors, which is a hedge fund investing in disruptive innovation. So, Whitney, if you could tell us a little bit more about your firm, that'd be great.
Sure. Rose Park Advisors is an investment firm. There are three partners and co-founders, Clayton Christensen of the Harvard Business School, who wrote the book, The Innovator's Dilemma, a New York Times bestseller, his son, Matt Christensen, who's also a Harvard Business School grad, and myself. The name Rose Park, incidentally, is the neighborhood in Salt Lake City where Professor Christensen grew up. So that's where that came from.
Okay.
Yes. Now, our fund that we run is the Disruptive Innovation Fund. It's a global long-short equity fund in which we apply the frameworks of disruptive innovation to investing.
Okay.
We invest primarily in publicly traded equities, though we do have a 10% side pocket for private equity investments.
Okay.
One of the things, obviously, our primary goal as investors is to, on the one hand, really protect and safeguard the monies that people have entrusted to us, at the same time to build their wealth.
Yeah. So can you explain specifically what disruptive innovation is then, and some more about the role it plays in your investment process?
Yes. Disruptive innovation is actually a term that was coined by Professor Christensen, and to really distill it to its essence, it's a low-end or new market innovation that changes the game and ultimately upends an industry. What Professor Christensen found is that if an entrant into a market will go in at the low end or into a new market, if it has a business model that can be profitable at a much lower price point, and in a place where the incumbents sort of ignore it and dismiss it, then the odds of that company succeeding are 6 times greater as a disruptor than if they go in without meeting those criteria of disruption. And so as investors, what we're really doing is we're sifting through all the small cap companies out there, sort of under $1 billion, seeing if they meet the criteria of a disruptor. Because if they do, we believe that we have an advantage of identifying them, and that those will be tomorrow's large cap companies and the bellwether names in the next decade.
Sure. And you're just catching them right nice and early as they're coming into it.
That is the idea.
Yeah.
That is the idea.
Great. So once you've identified these disruptors, what's the next step?
Well, let me give you a couple of examples of the disruptors, because I think sometimes people say, well, what does disruption mean exactly? And I'm going to give you 2 examples. The first is wireless, and I think we're familiar with wireless, and in emerging markets in particular, and in Mexico, which is where the country and the sector that I covered as a sell-side equity analyst. 15 years ago, in a country of 75 million people, there were basically 10 million people that had access to telephony. 9 million were wireline subscribers, 1 million wireless subscribers, and 65 million, or 85% of the population, who had no access to telephony.
Oh, wow.
85% only 15 years ago. Enter wireless. It was a low-end disruptor because the signal quality was poor compared to the fixed line. On the other hand, people were willing to take the poor signal quality if you were a fixed line subscriber because it allowed you to talk on the go.
Sure.
It was a new market disruptor because the wireless operators were willing to subsidize the handsets, so it made it that it was affordable for all these people that weren't consuming wireless at that time. What you then have had happen, getting tongue-tied, is that 15 years later, you've got a country of 100 million people. There are still about 9 million wireline subscribers, but that 1 million wireless subscribers has gone to 75 million. So you've had a low-end, new market innovation that has certainly changed the game and upended the industry.
Yeah.
So that's one example. Now, another one that's in our portfolio right now is a company called Align Technologies. They make a product called Invisalign. It's a low-end disruptor because it can be installed by dentists who have less professional training than an orthodontist. It's a new market disruptor because an adult who wants to have straight teeth does not want to have braces.
Yeah.
But they might do these invisible braces, and then they can have straight teeth. And so then that's new market, and it's a larger market than they would otherwise have. So those are really 2 examples.
Yeah. Well, those are great examples. It sounds like a really exciting business. What do you see as the future for Rose Park Advisors?
The future is, well, my lawyers would want me to say that we are an unregistered investment vehicle. Only qualified purchasers can be in this, so that means you've got to have a net worth of $5 million or greater.
Sure.
But what we have been doing and will continue to do is really codify the process of applying disruptive innovation to investing and continue to really look to build our business and the operational side of our business, because there's running money and there's running a business. And if we do both well, we can really deliver value to our investors.
Sure. Well, it sounds like you have a lot ahead of you.
We do, and it's exciting.
Yeah. Thanks so much for being here today, Whitney. And we will see you here next time on the Morning Market Call. Thanks for joining us. Thanks.
Thank you, Julie.
Morning Market Call is a production of the Marriott School of Business at Brigham Young University and is made possible by generous donations from Larry Kashjan and Gary Williams. This webcast was produced by Greg Lee, Tim Hart, Julie Kellett, and Jonathan Marugi.